Hello, this is the video for Scorpio Rising. So Scorpio is a fixed water sign and it's ruled by the planet Pluto and it's co-ruled by the planet Mars. So in terms of appearance, I'll start there. So people with Scorpio Rising tend to have something about the appearance that is dark, mysterious, sensual, and sometimes they can seem quite sexual to the opposite sex, but it's a hidden or cloaked sexuality. It's like a sort of smoky, kind of mysterious quality. They have something around the eyes and the eyebrows that stands out, so it can be where the eyes are quite penetrating, and it's almost as if when you look at them, their look is quite piercing and it looks like they're looking straight through you, which they often are. And also women with Scorpio Rising, can be quite strong in their physicality. Even if they're petite, they might be muscular or have a physical strength about them. Of course, it depends on the rest of the chart, but that is quite common, and it's common for Scorpio Rising women to be shorter than tall. So, and also, they tend to have thick hair, and just the main thing really is the eyes and the eyebrows, and there's some kind of penetrating look with the eyes. They also have a presence about them that, and just also with men, like there's something to do with the eyes as well. So, women or men, that relates to, of course. And men with Scorpio Rising might seem a little bit intimidating at first until you get to know them, which can be quite difficult because Scorpio Risings can be very hard to get to know, which is similar to a Scorpio Moon, but in a different way. A Scorpio ascendant person may tend to keep people at a distance or emotionally sort of at a distance, but if they are interested in getting to know you, they will kind of draw you into them, draw you to them, and they will tend to somehow get information out of you about yourself, and they have a hypnotizing sort of quality about them, so they can sort of draw information out of you and not give too much away about themselves. They're very strategic like that, and it comes very naturally to them. So they are, quite strategically minded, and it's not like they're always plotting and planning, but they just naturally, the way their mind works is in a calculating or strategic kind of way of thinking. So there's a lot to say with the Scorpio Rising, so I have to kind of pace myself through it. It's quite a complex sign, ascendant sign, rising sign, and very dynamic, and there's just a lot I feel to say, so I'll try and sort of cover as much as I can. So people with Scorpio Rising, there's something to do with vulnerability and power issues that come up for them in their lives, and they may start out when they're younger with some kind of issues where they felt vulnerable, extremely vulnerable, and as a result they felt a need to protect themselves. So sometimes it can be a case of abuse in the home, or a very dominant parent that was very controlling and didn't allow for the Scorpio Rising individual to feel like they could be seen. It's almost like a typical situation is an abusive parent, and or an intimidating parent, and or something along those lines was something to do with that in the childhood with Scorpio Rising. So people with Scorpio Rising, they have it quite difficult in life, and I'm not saying that any other signs don't, but certainly people with Scorpio Rising have a lot of obstacles, in the sense of a lot of crises, a lot of endings and new beginnings, a lot of transformation. So they go through times of life where a phase will end and there can be a crisis around that, and they need to let that go, and then a new phase can begin. So they're always evolving themselves to a new level. Now, there's kind of two types of Scorpio Rising. For example, a younger Scorpio Rising person that hasn't had the life experience can be very destructive, can be on the darker energy level of Scorpio. So they can be manipulative, controlling, demanding, and very selfish in that way. But until they learn and go through, you know, life a bit more, they might realise that that's only keeping them stuck at a certain level. And a Scorpio rising is an energy. People with Scorpio rising are people that want to evolve themselves. They want to transform themselves. They have an innate desire for that. So, you know, the two types are someone that's either very destructive or someone that's either very creative. That's the best way I can put it. So, you know, I have read and it said that these people are either, you know, in a very dark space or in a very light space where they are trying to evolve themselves consciously and be more of the light. And you know, there's much symbolism associated with Scorpio rising. There is, you know, the scorpion, which is a very resourceful and you know, amazing survivor. So you think about a scorpion, it lives in a desert where there's really not much there. It's very sparse and not much happening, but it's just such a resourceful animal that is such a survivor. So that gives you an idea. Then another animal to do with Scorpio rising is the eagle. So the eagle represents soaring above and seeing things from a higher level and being able to have that perspective on life. And there's even higher than that, which is the dove, which is really transforming the energies to a very high vibration so that you have the potential to achieve that. Now, that's getting into the more esoteric side of things, but to sort of bring it back down to earth a little bit, people with Scorpio rising can be with their loved ones and family members or partners very demanding. They can be quite confrontational. They are like a volcano. They'll either be dormant or they'll be erupting. So it's kind of one extreme or the other. It's very extreme. It's either, you know, one or the other, basically. So you've got to look to the rest of the chart to see where more balance comes into the personality. But a Scorpio rising person will either be in that dormant state or in that explosive state. So, or in that empowered, sort of powerful, dynamic, intense state. So they need a lot of challenge in their life to feel satisfied. And in partnerships, they will demand the best out of the person that they're with. And if they're not getting that, they will feel somewhat frustrated. So they can be quite controlling because they have such a desire for that intensity and that connection with the one-on-one that they can be demanding like that. So they can be controlling, but it's in more of a subtle way. It's not like, you know, a Leo, which can be really bossy, or a Capricorn, which will be like, you know, do this, do that. This is more on a subtle way, where it's an energetic thing, and it's like pulling the person that they're with out of their old habits and trying to help them transform. So people with Scorpio rising have an ability to really transform other people as well. They can transform themselves, but they can transform others through their relationships and through whatever, you know, areas of life that they focus their energies in. As I said, there's a lot of creative energy with Scorpio rising. So, you know, they have a lot of power at their disposal, and they may find that in life they have a lot of power struggles with people. So what that is trying to teach them is to really tap into their own true, authentic inner power, so that they don't feel that they have to control others. And so really tapping into their own inner sense of power is something that's very important for them. In terms of the way they think and get about in the world, they can, on the negative side, suffer from paranoia. Now, there's a spectrum. When I say paranoia, you know, it might be just negative thoughts in the sense that they don't trust people easily, so they're not going to let you in to their inner private world very easily at all. So this is going to take time. If you know someone with a Scorpio rising, if you're getting to know someone, don't push things too quickly. They will not like that. It's like they enjoy gradually sort of getting to know somebody, because, you know, trust is an issue for Scorpios and Scorpio rising, especially, and Scorpio moons. So they don't trust people easily because of what they've been through in their lives, and trust needs to be earned. And they always, there's a part of them that's almost waiting for you to make a mistake, waiting for you to do something wrong and prove that, you know, you can't trust people. So that's the negative side of it. They have trouble with having faith in people. On the positive side of it, they've got so much energy at their disposal, and in a crisis, these people are very very good in a crisis. They will just know exactly what to do when other people are just reacting from pure just emotion, the Scorpio rising can become very almost cold and just switch that off and just get into thinking mode and know exactly what steps need to be taken, what needs to be done, and they'll be like, right, just stop and let's do this, do that, and we'll get it sorted out. They're very resourceful people. They can do a lot with very minimal resources. Again, think of a scorpion in the desert, symbolism, and they work best behind the scenes. They don't like everybody looking at them. They don't like to be fully in the spotlight. They like to be controlling things behind the scenes, working on something behind the scenes, and then, you know, presenting it to others when it's been fully worked on to the best of their ability. There is a bit of competitiveness with Scorpio rising, but it's not in the way that you might think straight away. It's not like Mars, you know, like Aries, and it's not like Leo competitiveness, which is like wanting to be seen to be the best. Scorpio rising has that desire, but it's more when people aren't looking, they will work so hard on something and just hone it and hone it and hone it until they just get it exactly how they want it. And it's more doing things behind the scenes, so where people can't watch what they're doing. So there's that. You know, there's so much to say with Scorpio rising. There's elements of they're very sorry, I'm having so many thoughts going on at once here. They're huge observers, and they can suss out people so well because they observe every little detail of what a person is doing, a person's behavioural patterns. You know, they'll know what's going on, you know, on the undercurrent level. They'll be able to pick up on clues and hints, and they'll put it all together, and then they'll have their intuitive senses, which will also tell them things. So they're excellent researchers, and they can get information on anything. So and they will dig deep, and they will not give up when it comes to finding information. So Scorpio rising is a formidable opponent. And, you know, they make excellent detectives and people that work on, you know, cases in terms of police work and things like that. You know, it's a typical Scorpio rising job to be a detective or to be an undercover police worker, or, you know, something like that. They are, so as I say, excellent at research, excellent at finding information about people. And if they want to know something about you, if they're getting to know you, they will, you know, be very strategic as to how they find that information, and you'll have absolutely no idea how that they're looking into things about you. You know, if they're getting to know you, they will definitely be doing that. So they have to watch negative thoughts. That's the other thing. Even people on a high level of Scorpio rising, they still have to, you know, keep working on the negative thoughts, because they can be, I wouldn't say pessimistic, it's more not trusting and thinking that, you know, thinking that people might want to hurt them. There's always that fear, so they're always self-protecting. And you know, a younger Scorpio rising person can have an attitude of, get the hell away from me, don't come near me. You know, if they're walking down the street, a woman with Scorpio rising might project a vibe like, just don't even look at me, just don't come near me type thing, but they will also exude this sort of sexuality, this sensuality about them as well. So they're very complex in that way, and but once you get to know a Scorpio rising person, there's a very rich personality there. There's a lot of depth to them, and yeah, I think I'm going to leave it there, because there is just so much to say, I feel, with this sign, and possibly also because it's my own rising sign, so it's a bit hard for me, because I'm, you know, obviously I know myself very well at this point in time, so. But yeah, it's very different for a teenager that has Scorpio rising to a person that's more evolved and has more of the wisdom from their years of experience. So, but if you have Scorpio rising, you do have to be prepared to go through periods of crisis in your life, and you've already probably experienced that if you're watching this video and you're past your teen years. You would have gone through some of those crises and then come out stronger, and no matter what you face, no matter how difficult, and almost the higher the difficulty level, the better you deal with it, because it's like, the harder something is, you're like, I'm going to get through this no matter what, you know. There's such a determination with Scorpio rising, and I would almost say you have a motto of never give up. So if you have Scorpio rising and would like to share, please do. This was a much longer video than I intended, but as I said, I felt like there was a lot to say. So please leave your comments and questions below. Thanks for watching, everyone.